All right, everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Just Noise podcast. Again, I'm joined as always with my buddy Logan Purdue. Logan, how we doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you doing, man?
Ah, dude, I'm excited. It's a nice weekend outside.
It
So
is for
again,
sure.
we're joined with an absolute legend here. I've been listening to the dude's music since I was 15 years old. So without further ado, welcome John Abernathy.
Hey guys, how you guys doing today?
Fucking great, dude.
Doing great.
Yeah. So here at Just Noise, we always kind of start a little bit with introductions. If you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and your early life, and what got you into music, and then we'll explore some more from there. So
Great, yeah. John Abernathy. I used to play in Conducting from the Grave. I play in Wastewalker now. Grew up in Sacramento, California. Also Mobile, Alabama for like a year, but mainly Sacramento my whole life. What got me into music was, as like a elementary schooler, I just listened to a lot of gangster rap, basically Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tupac, Snoop, all that type of stuff. And then I saw my cousin, I had an older cousin that I kind of looked up to, and I saw him shredding guitar. He had like a BC Rich. He was like a quintessential like Hesher death metal kind of guy. And he just, I would like see him playing guitar, so I like, he had a teach yourself how to play guitar book. And I learned how to read tabs at his house like a few months before Christmas of seventh grade. And then I asked for a guitar for Christmas in seventh grade. And he kind of gave me like a starter kit of like, it was a Metallica CD as an introductory to metal. And then Hypocrisy CD, he said would be like intermediate. Like if you like Metallica, you might like this. And they gave me a Cannibal Corpse CD. Again, I don't know if you're going to like Cannibal Corpse. But so he basically gave me three, they were cassette tapes at the time. And I actually loved the fucking Cannibal Corpse. I loved reading along to the lyrics and shit, or there might have been CD. I can't remember honestly looking back, but anyways, it was I was reading the lyrics and I was into like Brother Lynch Hung. He's like a like horrorcore gangster rap staple of Sacramento, and I remember thinking like, dude, this Cannibal Corpse stuff makes Brother Lynch look like Disney music. Like I was like really into it, like how macabre and dark it was. So that's kind of what got me into metal was my older cousin Matt, who actually he's like a world record right now for world's strongest man over 40. He's like a professional power lifter.
shit,
He goes
dude.
like to Europe and stuff and does all type of stuff like that. I'm about to turn
That's
my
awesome.
AC on. It's hot today in Sacramento. It's like 96. I was just at the pool with my kid and my lady. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got into music and how I got into metal.
That's crazy, like to think about tabs being that early on, like you in seventh grade. It's like, wow, that kind of takes it back. So, yeah, dude. So that's super cool. You definitely have the death metal roots. You can hear it for sure. You got the melodic death metal roots in your soul. But so how long did you play guitar before you had got the itch where you're like, I want to be in a band. I don't want to just be a bedroom guitar player.
Oh, probably just the way I ended up getting into my first band ever. Well, actually, now I'm thinking about it. So, I mean, immediately, basically, like that was the goal. As soon as I started playing, was like, yeah, I want to play in bands. And then I did this thing called Stairway to Stardom at this place called Skips Music. It's a music shop in Sacramento where it's like for youth. You pay your parents pay like I don't know how much, 400, 500 bucks for the summer, and then they put you in a band with people. It was man. I was in a band. They for some reason they matched me with like two girls that were into like Marilyn Manson and a dude that was in, and our band was called A Substance Under, and it's really bad. There's a VHS tape of it. They film it like you do a battle of the bands type thing at the end of the summer, and you have like a coach. But after that though, then I ended up getting into a band like a straight edge hardcore band called X, A Life Less Lived X. But yeah, so I had gotten to that because my friend Allie in high school, she was like, "Hey, this band needs a guitar player, and you're the best guitar player I know." Because I kind of took the guitar pretty quickly, like within a year or two. Like I was already like playing like Metallica solos and everything,
Mm-hmm.
Pantera solos. So I didn't even know about hardcore though. Then I just was like, oh, I wanted to be in a band so bad. And those guys showed me hardcore. They showed me Poison the Well and like that. So I didn't even know what a breakdown. I mean, I was playing Pantera, but that to me was like just metal. You know what I mean? But so they showed me like opposite. Yeah. Yeah, so it was pretty shortly. I think I was 16 then, so I was probably, 13, 14 when I started playing, and then 16 when I joined that band. And they were all a little bit.
That's really, yeah, that's really cool. Like the having the no knowledge of the hardcore. Like I had kind of a similar ordeal. Like when I joined in playing hardcore bands, so that's kind of cool. That's really
Yeah,
neat.
for sure. Yeah, I was just a little Hesher, like, Pantera, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer kid in high school,
Yeah,
back in 02. 02, 01, whatever. I didn't even know about hardcore at all, and then they kind of introduced me.
What were like what was kind of your like transitioning like bigger bands like that I guess helped you develop your sound to where you keep where you moved into getting into Brandon's computer crashed. Oh no.
Yeah, see it.
Yeah,
But
he
as
just
far as bands, like At the Gates was major, and obviously like that's what kind of like I think Black Dahlia Murder took that and ran with it. You know what I mean? Like they took the At the Gates kind of
mm-hmm.
sound. So I'm like a typical. It's a very typical tale as old as time for that era of musicians. Is like At the Gates, Black Dahlia Murder, As I Lay Dying. You know, like that's what kind of sent me. You know,
Oh
In
yeah.
Flames, In Flames was a big one for me.
Hell yeah.
Just kind of went from there.
That's cool. Like I had a friend that was a few years older than me that listened to a lot of those same bands, so that's kind of cool. Like I know what you're talking about, like all those yeah. In Flames, I love a lot of those early songs that they
Yeah.
released and stuff.
Their new stuff is insanely good, actually, because they got the old
Yeah.
Megadeth guitar player. Was it? I think Chris Broderick joined, and I listened to the new In
Uh-huh.
Flames album. I was like, oh, these solos are absolutely face melting, and they're one of those bands that like kind of they they sort of I mean because they've been around for so long, but they've taken a little bit of influence from each era. So like when new metal was big, they sort of had like not a they didn't go full on new metal, but they had a little new metal twinge. And then like when metalcore became like the new big thing, like with Acid Dying blowing up and stuff like that, that's when what was it? Was it Come Clarity? That's when that came out. And that album had
Uh-huh.
like some metalcore feel to it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, it had those cool like really fast like touch riffs, yeah. Or I don't know, I call them like touch riffs. I don't know what the hell they're really called, but but yeah, I love those really fast things. Those are really sweet. I guess was conducting like the first big band after that you kind of got into? I
Yeah.
guess how did you end up getting into conducting? I guess how did that all happen?
Yeah, so the timeline from the band I was in high school, the straight edge hardcore band, X, The Lifeless Lived, who those guys ended up going on to do another local band called Five Victims, Four Graves, and I forget what the two of those guys are in another band now called Solid State, I think. Anyways, I that band broke up, and then so like I was in that band from like 16 to maybe 18, and then like around age 19, I basically started making my own shit with a Tascam tape, like just raw direct into it, like no distortion. No, this is
Uh-huh.
before there was home recording. Was I was maybe years too soon for like everyone to five, maybe honestly 10 years before everyone just had home recording setups. You know what I mean? Like I got this, like
Right.
I could do this little four input thing. This was my old
Oh,
setup,
yeah.
and I didn't have it on. But yeah, anyhow, I'm rambling, getting away from myself. But
No, you're
basically I
okay.
had a four track tape recorder, and I just was recording metal songs of like that I wanted to do when I was like 17, and I was kind of shopping that cassette around to like I think I gave copies of it to four different drummers in Sacramento, and ended up settling with or not settling, that's a bad way of putting it. I ended up Greg Donnelly, he was the the only drummer the Conducting from the Grave ever had from day one all the way till then.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he was down to do it. He came from more of a punk rock background too. He had like leftover crack played at his house, at his like barn and stuff. And yeah, he was a punk rock
Oh,
drummer
that's
more
cool.
than he wasn't super into death metal, but he kind of got into deathcore, metalcore. Deathcore wasn't even a phrase. Let's talk about that fact. The fact that when
Right?
I was graduating high school, no one said deathcore. Like I remember Glass Casket coming
No.
out, and then like and like we played shows with like Ultra Prayer, Suffocate, all that. Like no one called that shit deathcore really yet. It wasn't. It became a term that was coined a little bit later. But
Right.
yeah, we used to just play with all those bands, and yeah, it just started from high school, me making that cassette tape of me just it was dry, just clean tone guitar tracks, and then I would give the tape to people and be like, all right, so on this part I would do like air drum, like so it's like
That's really cool.
and so he'd be like, all right, and so that's how you want me to play the beat? Okay, cool. And so then we jammed out like that. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't making demos like I do now, where I program the drums and stuff. I was just literally
Right.
here's a cassette tape where I recorded clean tone, and
That's
it's like,
pretty
oh,
awesome though that like
and then like when you come in, I want you to triple tone the road. So yeah, that would come in like that, like just doing triple double bass like with my mouth, or that's kind of. And then we ended up getting Jeff from With Passion. He had quit, and they were a band I looked up to. They were like my favorite local band. They were a little bit older, like maybe 4 years older, and I was like a freshman when they were like seniors or graduating type shit. And I used to see them at this coffee shop called Sweet Bean in Laguna, Elk Grove. And so Jeff had ended up like quitting slash got kicked out, kind of, I guess, With Passion. And in my head, I was like, dude, like, you want to join my band? He was down to do it. And I mean, I
Hell
was
yeah.
just like, to him at the time, I think like a snot nosed little kid. You know, I was only like 17. So, and he was like 21 probably. And I ended up getting him in the
Right.
band. And that was pretty integral. Then we had, originally it was Sean Geyer, who was the guitar player.
Mhm.
He joined on vocals originally, but then he quit because With Passion got signed to Earache, and he was doing all type of tours with like big ass bands. So I was like, I'm not gonna have the time to dedicate to this. And then that's when we got Drew Winter, who's like fucking the best death metal vocalist, deathcore vocalist. Like fucking fuck you if you think differently. Like that guy is a beast. Best frontman. I love. Trying to think, we got Bill on bass, and yeah, the rest is.
Yeah, dude. Sorry I dropped off there real quick. My computer's been crashing
No worries,
randomly, so I'm
yeah,
glad that
yeah, no
I'm
worries,
glad
man.
I got
Kind of,
back.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, indeed, yeah, yep, yep.
so
Just
one thing
trying to
I
talk
wanted
on.
to say that was super cool was the fact that Jeff and Greg have been with you from the beginning, basically.
Yeah, we had a bit of a revolving door of vocalists and a slightly less so of bass. But yeah, it was always me, Greg, and Jeff. From me and my other guitar player, my drummer, day one all the way through. No fill-ins, nothing. Like yeah, that was just like a demo. Yeah, essentially the four of those. Just later on went on to we added two more songs. We added In Proper Burial and Eternally Gutted to make the EP. But yeah,
Did any of the songs from the tape recorder that you did the drum stuff? Did any of that make it into the conducting stuff?
yeah, yeah. That was all. Basically When Two Blood Types Coalesce, which is the first song that I ever wrote, and then yeah, no, pretty much all those. There was one that didn't make it. It was I can still remember. Basically, they all had to tell me like that song, but it was kind of like me being influenced by Roots or by In Flames, but it just was lame compared to the rest of them. Like looking back on it, like yeah, that.
Right.
Well, it's crazy that like 20 years later, I can still remember these riffs. Should probably longer than 20 years.
Right.
Yeah, there was one that didn't make it, but everything else that was on Breathe the Blackened Sky and Trials of the Forsaken was from that Tascam tape recorder era where I was just playing. I was like, listen to this and air drumming, and then like, all right, let's rehearse it type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. uh,
Days on how good they have it. You can record shit on your phone. You have a home studio in your phone.
right. That I have one of those Line 6 Pod Expresses, and you can connect a Type C into the back of it into my iPhone, and then I can literally connect that into GarageBand and do everything right there on my cell phone. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, yeah. I know my
And
singer
then you
Cam
can
always does a. Yeah, he has a what the fuck's that? Not CapCut. I can't remember. But yeah, Cameron from Wastewalker. He does everything that he does on his phone. He's doing all these vocal covers and all this. And that. I'm like, me personally, I'm still a little bit old school. I like to sit at the computer and actually be able to use a mouse. But like, it drives me nuts to sit on the phone
right.
and like have to. Cause when you get
Yeah,
used to doing
the
it on the computer, you have your. It's a game changer. Like for
it's super inconvenient doing it on the phone, but on the fly. And then I have a 2-year-old daughter, so it's a little easier to hide that I'm doing something on my phone than on a tablet or something, you
feel, I feel yeah, I got a 6 year old son. I know. Now that my kid's 6, I'm finally really diving back in and stepping on the gas pedal with the music shit because like the first like 5 years, it's like they demand so much attention and energy. It's like it's really hard to. Plus, I'm like I'm a trucker now, so that eats up about 12 hours of my day each day. So it's just like,
right?
all right, he's a little
I
older.
hear
He
you.
can kind of like he can be a little more self sufficient now. I'm like that's why I got a new laptop. I stepped up on my recording shit. I got an interface. I bought.
Hell yeah.
I may or may I
And you know,
cannot confirm that I've been using a pirated version, maybe or maybe not, over the last fucking. But no, I bought it now,
it's
so
like
don't.
it's like Reaper, the same. Everybody,
Yeah, everyone
nobody
loves to use
uses
that.
this for professional.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Uh, I guess so. Yeah, we got sidetracked there. Brandon disappeared again, but yeah, Uh, I didn't write these down. He wrote all the titles down. What's the next conducting album? I'm sorry, man.
Oh,
He has that list of all that stuff.
when Legends Become Dust was the official, yeah, the
Yes.
first release that we did with Stone Records. Yeah.
What was I guess what was your guys' like approach of like writing style like in those early days? Like, was it all kind of everybody's in the room together, or was it, like I have my
Yes,
parts and here,
yes, it was much more of that than it is certainly compared to how I write now. Oh, is he back
right.
in? Oh, yeah.
There he
Hey,
is.
welcome back.
I would love to be here. Thank you for fucking hanging in there,
You are
guys.
here.
Jesus
You're good.
fucking Christ.
The question that Logan just asked, which is a really great question, was basically what was our writing like back then? Was it more like everyone in the room contributed together, or what, versus, which is a great question. It was much more of that we would all get in the room and write together, but it was more me dominating the writing sessions, like me kind of. I was always the one that had more riffs. I was always, but as time has gone on, I have gotten to that point though where I do like to just write. It's just I get a vision. I start to write the lyrics as I go now. Like with the Wastewalker song, a perfect example of that is "Vengeance of the Lowborn" with Wastewalker. I feel like that's one of our best like written songs as far as there's like all the fat is trimmed. There's no extra bullshit because I was writing the words as I was telling a story. It's like a very storyteller song about like being too poor to get into the vaults after the nuclear bombs go off, and then like you're
Mm-hmm.
getting mutated and then ripping the vault doors off type shit. But I was writing the lyrics as I was writing the song. But back in the day, getting to your original, like with the first conducting album, yeah, we would all jam together. Like I still didn't really have a home recording set up or anything, so yeah, we would just get together and really just crank it all out and spend exponentially more time, astronomically way too much time, where we're just all driving to the practice spot and
Right.
not getting paid, just burning the
Yeah.
midnight
Lugging
oil.
your gear around. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's what made
Just
it so
over,
memorable.
just
So
playing those riffs over and over and over.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, much more of that. Yeah, back jobs and children and all that. And when you had just nothing but
Right.
time to just go to the practice spot and jam. Yeah.
Right.
It's definitely not, it's nice when you have all your guys around you too. You don't have to worry about commuting too far or anything like that. That really, like, that's why you end up being a bedroom guitar player. Then you're like, I don't want to fucking do that. I can actually spend time doing this shit. So, but there's no mistaking that that full band dynamic when you find your dudes and you like again like I was saying before I got booted. It's really cool that when for whole conducting from the grave you had your guys like you really had that sound honed in even when you guys stepped away for a little bit and you were doing the With Passion because yeah you deserve your flowers for that one. I know that you were saying that you didn't feel like you got enough credit for that whole second album you did with Passion because you wrote majority of it with yeah it
Yeah, that was
really
probably the biggest misstep of my career, my music career, is like I didn't get on any contract. They had already signed the contract with Eric, and then basically we joined with Passion. Me, Jeff, and Greg joined with Passion because there was a tour already booked with Nile and Hypocrisy and Decapitated. And like at the time, I was like 20, maybe 22. I was like, yeah, I'd only done one tour. We did conducting did one tour with Light the City in 2005, and that was all booked through MySpace, and it was
mm-hmm.
like very shoddy. It was like they were supposed to get $100 a night, and we were supposed to get $75 a night, but there was no contracts or booking agents, so a lot of nights it was like, here's $20 and a Little Caesars pizza, fuck off, like there was no one here.
Right.
So then it's like, oh, if you guys join with Passion, we're about to tour with Nile. We're on First Row Talent, I think it was, John Finberg, famously like a total creep piece of garbaggio. Well, that's a whole story for another day. Oh man, don't I could go on that shit for don't get me started. Anyhow, he used to represent all the big old school death metal bands. So like with Hassan was on that agent. I don't know, just weird and wild. And we did that, but then I never signed to Earache officially. And then we went to Florida to record that With Passion album, that second album with Eric Rutan, and fucking I tracked all the bass bars, and it was just very stressful. Like Greg had never recorded or even played the click track before, and yeah,
Damn.
it was a mess. It was a learning experience, is what I would call it. It was a learning.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Um, and
Um,
I don't know. I've never seen a dime of royalties or anything from that. So I don't think it recouped, to be honest, because they spent so much money recording with Eric Rutan because he's like a big name in death metal and a big name
mhm.
producer. So I think Eric Records like probably fronted. I don't even. I have honestly I have no idea. Probably 40 grand for a record that did not sell. Like we did a bunch of flop ass tours where our bands like dropped off and drove home, and then we were the only band left on the tour. So we're driving to the next show, and they're like, "Well, the other 2 or 3 bands dropped off, and we're just gonna cancel the show." Then we're over here trying to like find. We were going to a Hot Topic at the mall and trying to sell CDs to get gas money. Like, please buy our CD. Like, we were from Sacramento. We're here in St. Louis, Missouri, and our show got canceled. We have to drive another 380 miles to the next show type shit. And then we ended up landing house party shows. There was one time in what was that fucking shit in? I would say maybe we were in North, but we ended up doing a house party show in the day, and then somebody from that house party said, "Hey, I'm having a party at my house tonight." So we went and did another house party that night.
And the party keeps rolling.
Gas money. You know what I mean? So, and that on the trip to Florida, actually, we killed our second van that we had bought. We had killed the first one on the Nile tour that we did, and then we got that one in Chicago, and then we killed that one in Florida. Like, we financed the third van for like 22 grand. Like, basically every dime I ever made from With Passion and Conducting from the Grave all went to fucking transportation. Like, people don't believe it when I tell them, but it's absolutely a fact. We never saw a personal payout from Conducting from the Grave until
and you're getting some royalties these days now, aren't you? Finally.
Yeah, like $500, $600 every 6 months, something like that. It's
Fuck yeah, dude, you deserve that.
Yeah. I hear horror stories of bands that I know are bigger than us, but they signed worse contracts where, like, people that signed to Victory Records and shit, and they're like, dude, we sold fucking 800,000 records and we never get a royalty. I'm like, that's because they, like, put you on MTV and you're recouped, you know what I mean? Whereas, like, Sumerian gave us a 50-50, 360 deal, so the shit recouped in the first week. Sales, like, both records did, like, around 700, 800 copies first week, so that recouped a little 4 or 5, I think it's like $5,000 in studio time. Basically, yeah, we were getting royalty checks like $3,000-4,000 back in the day when we were touring heavily, like, and you know, selling hosts and this and that. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy looking back on that. Just how we used to just sell CDs at the fucking mall.
Right, just completely different times. Like you were saying, like tours booked through MySpace, and it wasn't, you know, like a booked, like a properly booked tour or anything. You know, it's just wild. You know, yeah.
So I wanted to jump back a little bit because I missed a little bit. One thing that I thought, we were talking about Drew being in the band for a while when you guys were doing trials, and that's super fucking cool. I saw a video that I was so beyond impressed by you, sir. It was crazy. I don't know what happened with Drew when he had to leave suddenly, but it was you fucking screaming and playing all of your regular guitar parts and leads and doing it at like it was, you were the vocalist all the time. It was fucking phenomenally impressive. So, yeah.
So the story behind that. So, I mean, I was the lyric writer too on not a lot, but a good amount of the songs for Conducting. Like, I wrote Eternally Gutted for Maroons Who Rise, Her Poison Tongues, and Mikey wrote a little bit of that too. Anyways, so that tour was a Carnifex, Embrace the End, Arsonists Get All the Girls, and Broadcast the Nightmare. And I feel like I'm forgetting someone else. That was basically after the whole With Passion crap, when we reunited Conducting, and we're like, yeah, we're going to do Conducting. We got signed to Sumerian and whatnot. And yeah, so we're out with Carnifex and them, and in the middle, I mean, I don't think that he would care if I told this, because he's very open about his own issues and shit. But Drew had a very bad drug problem, and so we stayed at a house in Oklahoma City on our day. We had a day off, and this family was very nice to accommodate us, drive to Walmart to get stuff to barbecue for us and everything. And then, but we knew Drew had a little bit of an issue, and I guess Jeff had just noticed their medicine cabinet had a lot of like Norcos or something like that. And then he checked later and saw that like half the bottle was gone, and he kind of confronted Drew. He was like, "Yo, did you take these motherfuckers Norcos?" And he, like, out of shame because he did it, and he's like, he just ended up calling his grandma, and his grandma flew him home. And sorry, Drew, if you don't want me like telling the story, but I mean, this is fucking what, 07, 08? Like, and I know you're like, he's like a drug counselor now and shit, like a drug addiction.
He's better these days, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, fuck, honestly, I need to, I like to drink, and I do need to. But you know, I'm proud of you, Drew. But yeah, that's kind of what happened with that. We were all the way in Oklahoma City with 2 weeks left in tour, and so it was like, oh, so are we gonna leave and drive all the way back to Sacramento and not, you know, lose out on all the guarantees and the merch sales or whatever, or can we just figure it out? And so I was I know the words, I wrote them on most of them. Like, I didn't know, I've never really practiced playing and singing. Here's the thing, hats off to like Revocation or like James Hetfield, even anyone that could do that, man, that's fucking sick as fuck. I hate doing it. I hate even that whole screaming, fucking just. I don't do it right because I don't know what I'm
Hmm.
doing and I'm not good at it. I don't have that natural talent for it, so it just tears your fucking throat up and shit. But we made it happen. My bass player Steven, he did the lows and I did the highs. My lows are abysmal, but my highs, I can get a good demonic high going, you know. So yeah, we just made it happen basically. And I think the video you're talking about is probably there's a few of them. There's one where we did the skate park in Rochester, New York, and then there's one at in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was another house party situation where like we had a day off, and because we were always just trying to play house parties. Just a day off on tour to me back in was horrible. Like, why am I out here just sitting in a Walmart parking lot or at a hotel? Yeah, right. We never had enough, but you know. So yeah, that was that. That was we were. Yeah, we were just making it happen just to get through the tour, basically, to not have to cancel it, and you know, did what we had to do. But I much prefer having a front man to run around, you know. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
There were a couple that you guys played at that time where there was like a really big stage. I don't know if it was just the same video that I'd seen. Well, I mean, multiple videos
That's
of the
probably the
same
skate
instance,
park one
but
you're talking.
yeah. But the one that was really impressive where this dude just had like the camera right on you the whole time, dead center. I think it was
That's
like a house
yeah. We were in
party,
like
and
a
yeah.
barn. Yeah, we were in like a barn at a house party in Knoxville, Tennessee. And it's cool. Like we were talking to the kids about Whitechapel, which is funny because they're from Knoxville, and they were all
Hmm.
buddy. Hey, we know we went to high school with Whitechapel, type shit. And it's like we didn't even know at that time how big Whitechapel was gonna become. You know, we actually played with Whitechapel in San Jose one time, like before we toured in like '06 and shit. Like yeah, it's kind of crazy how big.
Could
Much
you
deserved.
could you tell us? I don't know if you already touched on this or not because I was gone, but could you tell us a little bit about that Suicide Silence show? Was it? It was you said it was at a Taco Bell parking lot, right?
Oh. No, it was a. So it was their Suicide Silence' very first time ever out of SoCal. They had never done a tour or done any shows outside of like Riverside, and so they still had like a U-Haul trailer and a van. And they came up. We did this place called what was it? It was in Vacaville or Fairfield. I can't remember, but it was like a church. It was like a warehouse, but the guy that booked the show was like a church guy. He ran a church, and so he initially announced a certain lineup of bands, but then all these other local garage bands were like, they heard about it and like, can we get on it? Can we get on it? Can we get on it? And he was like, well, Jesus would never turn anyone away. So yes, yeah. I think who else was on like Arsonist Kill All the Girls. I'm trying to think of the other bands that were of note. I think Arsonist Kill All the Girls was on it. Suicide Silence and I forget who else, but it ended up being like 30 bands and like when Suicide Silence was playing, they got a good slot because they were just kind of the headliner, even though they didn't play last type shit. So it was popping. I remember like looking at Greg like this is gonna be sick. But they put us on at like 1 a.m. because they kept running way behind. And then we played this place called the Balazzo Gallery in which used to be a Chinese restaurant, but they made a black metal art and photo gallery in the dining area, and then where the kitchen was, they put a stage, and that's where the bands would play. And we played. It was Suffocate and Suicide Silence, and this band from Lodi called Pelter, and Conducting from the Grave. And yeah, it was chaos, man. Like somebody broke their hand on the sink in the kitchen by hardcore dancing. They like flared their hand back and like shattered their fucking hand on
Oh,
the sink. Yeah, because yeah. So you
oh,
must have watched that
fuck.
thing I posted when I was watching the thing with Peeling Flesh on Garza's podcast when he was talking about shit gigs. Like, oh, bro, we played a restaurant kitchen or whatever. I was like, oh, dude, I was like, I know what you're talking about. I was like,
That's crazy,
That's
dude.
wild as hell.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, moving forward a little bit. I thought it was really cool. I learned if it's accurate. I hope it is. Did Lou before or after he joined you guys fill in for Through the Eyes?
yeah, he had been in it was before. So we stayed at his house on tour one time. We opened for a local band, or it was on the Light the City tour that we did, the very first tour in
Mm-hmm.
'05. That's when we met him. We stayed at his house, and he was like a pretty fucking cool dude. Like we partied with him and shit. And he went on from then to do vocals for the Dead. I'm not super positive on the
It was just
timeline if the Through the
live.
Eyes of the Dead thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, I think Through the Eyes of the Dead was before he toured with him just live. I don't think he did it. He didn't actually do a with him. But then when Drew, like basically all that shit happened with Drew, where he flew home in the middle of the tour, we needed another vocalist, and we were kind of like, what about that? Because we just remember watching him, and was it Invocation of the Heck? I can't remember, or if it was another band, but I just remember that show. We were like, damn, that dude's a beast. Like he's fucking commanding the fucking room. So even though
Mm-hmm.
he's all the way in Connecticut, we kind of were like, let's hit that dude up. And so he ended up flying out and doing one Led Zeppelin. and that's how
Yeah,
that
dude.
kind of all.
I I never got to see you guys live with him. I always really enjoyed his vocals. Yeah, I mean, every release that you guys have has got its own kind of flavor to it. That first one's hit special hard at home for me. It's a shame that you guys had that vocalist curse. That's the way I would look at it. But
Yeah, yeah.
Mikey was phenomenal too. Like, a lot of people online were talking shit about him, and it's just like, bro, he's
Consummate professional. The
yeah,
thing
dude.
about Mikey, I didn't have to worry about writing lyrics or anything. It's like I just sent him the instrumental, and he would just track his own shit. He had his
Mhm.
own SM7B, his own send the shit back. The guy's a goddamn a monster like that, bro. Consummate professional, and he could do the clean singing and shit too, which was fucking great. Like I love the,
And
I
he
didn't think at
does.
the when we first started, I didn't think we were gonna be a band that would ever have clean singing. But then when he would send shit back, I was like, oh, that's that clean singing type shit I like. It's not like you were
Mhm.
trying to be asking Alexandria or bring me the Horizon type shit. You're doing like cool clean singing, if that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, dude, he's very unique. And then he also did a lot of he does artwork stuff too, doesn't he? He's like he did the retrials art you guys did,
yeah,
right?
yeah, he did that, and he was kind of putting it out there to just side hustle type shit,
Mhm.
do art for bands and stuff. So yeah,
What's
for
he up
sure
to
he
these
he was
days?
doing that. I have no idea to be honest. I don't think his Facebook's active, and I haven't heard from him in I don't know 6, 7, 8 years probably, which is sad. I want to reconnect, man.
Yeah,
I
dude.
don't know. It's kind of sad and tragic. I don't even other than Greg, my drummer. He's like there was a OG. I haven't really even talked to Jeff. Everyone had kids. Well, not everyone. Like Jeff has a kid. I got a kid. Everyone's just busy with their lives. I guess. I don't know. I guess I all just got our fill of. I'm a little bit of a psychopath. If I have to fucking not a psychopath, but little party animal. Sometimes I think like, yeah, obviously he's not gonna hit me if we just hang out. He's doing his thing. I don't know. Everyone's doing their thing, so I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, I have not
Well,
Mikey. Back to the original question. Yeah, we have not kept in touch, unfortunately, which is sad. I did talk to Lou a little bit on Instagram, like in the last year, because he had a new band. I forget what it was called. They were sick. Fuck, I wish I could remember the name because they were really fucking good.
yeah.
It was kind of had that synth like black and deathcore. What the fuck was that band called? It was kind of like Lorna Shore type sound, but
Mhm.
like really well done. And there was like, oh, I didn't even know it was happening until a targeted ad came on Facebook or Instagram. I forget. I think it was Facebook. It was featuring ex members of Conductor for the. I was like, oh, Lou, okay, there we go.
Tell me, please, am I in this band?
Yeah, I was like, I was like, oh, sick, Lou's in the band now, and it was really good. Fuck, man, it's really bothering me. Put if we could figure it out after the shit, just because I want to give them a plug or whatever,
Yeah,
put
for
it in
sure.
the
If you figure it out, we'll put it in there, man, for sure.
yeah,
Um,
I'll look at.
but yeah, man, I wanted to just say too, like the last conducting from the Grave EP is not EP, the album is just magical. I I don't know what Sumerian was thinking. That's all I gotta say. Is I love the
Oh, I know.
label.
I can tell you.
Oh, you can tell me what they were thinking.
I'll be
Well,
honest as fuck. No. The
yeah,
demos that we were sending were fucking ass. They were fucking garbage because I didn't have a good home studio setup. I was like the most brokest ever, like from touring a bunch and not having a steady job. And so
yeah,
I was like, I had this fucked up ass old laptop that had hella latency, and I was like miking up a fucking micro. I didn't have no plugins or nothing, so we were sending them demos that just fucking straight up sucked. They didn't like in my head. I was like, dude, if you can hear the vision once from the demo, once we go to Zach Orrin and actually record this shit, it'll be good. But the demos they were hearing were like, and then they got on like a conference call type thing and dropped us essentially. They were like, Ash Alvinson's exact words were, we signed two we have to prioritize our time moving forward in 2013 or whatever at the time. And so, because we just signed two major acts that like our bands we grew up listening to. And so we're just basically like, we're not trying to spend time on you guys. So we're going to release you guys from your third option and you guys are free to go do whatever. And this was right when all the other bands were doing Kickstarters and blowing up doing Kickstarters and shit like Protest the Hero. And so I was like, fuck. So that's the only time in my entire career I ever actually made money where I actually felt like, damn, I made money, like, and it was honestly just paying me back for shit I fucking put in. It was paying debt back, really, but like, I
yeah,
made a
dude.
few $1,000
Yeah,
money
dude.
I fronted for fucking merch and shit. But yeah,
I'm glad it came
no, I
out,
know.
bro.
Looking
Yeah.
back, I could completely understand why they fucking dropped it. But that album came out cool. I was happy with it. It was the first time we did 7 string guitars, and it was I
You used to have a
it was
rust.
also the first time where we got a little more towards like the earlier question where like was it everyone in the room together or was it you writing shit on your own? It was more me writing shit on my own and programming drums type shit, but and the Greg playing it. But yeah,
Out of all of your albums that you've done, What's your favorite mix that you've gotten back?
I think Revenant probably had the best mix, hands down. Like, just it slaps the hardest. Like, Zach was telling me he did something on a record. I don't know. I'm so versed in home recording or just audio engineering, but he was saying
Zach
he had
Oren?
mastering. Yeah, Zach Warren. He
That's
had
on.
some mastering thing that he did that he didn't do in the others. Yeah, I think Revenant has the best mix.
I think it has some of your tastiest lead playing too. I mean, obviously you're a monster and you can shred for days, but I think on that one it's got a lot of really tasteful leads that just carry into the
Yeah.
yeah.
My buddy Brett always tells me that my homeboy Brett, that's like he did work merch for us on a few shows, and he's like a mechanic and he'll help me out with my cars and shit. But he's always talking up the Nevermore solo,
Mm.
and that's one I forget about sometimes. And then I go back and listen. I'm like, oh, that is a saucy. Sometimes I go back and listen to Kentucky shit. I'm like, who wrote that? That was me. No, like, why can't I do anything this good for Wastewalker? What the fuck?
I disagree
Yeah, no,
with
there is
that
some.
too, but yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I know. The Wastewalker's got some fire shit. I'm not like denouncing that or anything, but yeah,
no,
it made.
Pen-
Sorry.
Penitence Through Bloodshed has that classic sauce that you have on everything in that one too. It's got a really nice it's just a nice tasty lead that carries that. I think it's like the second portion of that song. It gets me every time. I have to go back and re-listen to it. So yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, cool. So just because there's not much information about it, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Soma Ross and what you could tell us about that. I know it was a short, brief thing for you. So
Yeah. Summer Ross was a fucking good. Honestly, I see some of the bands that were blowing up in death metal now, like Vitriol and shit like that. Man, if we would have really gotten it together and did shit, I think it could have been one of the biggest fucking acts out. Like the guys are so damn talented, but it wasn't like I wasn't like the main writer of that. It was kind of like this guy Spencer who was in Embrace the End when I did that Carnifex Embrace the End. Yeah, I actually joined Embrace the End, but I never played a show because they ended up breaking up. And
mm-hmm.
then Spencer was like, "Well, honestly, dude, I want to do like a more intense death metal, like blasting type band." Anyway, so I started working on Summer Ross with him, and we got this guy Flint, who's the most insane drummer in Sacramento, like one of the most insane. Like he's fucking. I mean, I said the most, but not that. Oh yeah, we got my drummer Justin, we got Gabe, Seed Roos, and fucking every band ever. Like we got a lot of good drummers in Sac. Flint's a fucking, he's Drill Master Flint, like, which, dude, he's just fucking,
Mm-hmm.
just jamming with those guys. That was a band that's a perfect example, actually, of writing in the room. Everyone in the room writing. We were just at at Flint's garage, and what do you call it, like the death metal laboratory, some shit, have a brain farting. But anyways, yeah, we had like 7 or 8 songs, but we only ever released a little demo of 3,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a shame, to be honest, because the other ones were banged too. And I don't know, man. I don't know what went, not necessarily wrong, but I guess, oh yeah, Spencer kind of was at a point in his life where he was overwhelmed with stuff. And I was kind of at a point too. I think I had been just doing too much musically. Like I was trying to rap and I was doing conducting and I was doing sepsis with Nate before Wastewalker, and then I was doing the shit with Summer Ross. So Spencer, he was like the main driving creative force. He had like we got together for practice one day and he said like he just had a lot going on, and I was just like fine. I was kind of indifferent about it, I guess, which is sad because looking back, I really wish we could have put out a fucking record, man, because that shit was intense.
Can always go
Yeah,
back to it, dude. You got plenty of time.
shit. Now the way my life is right now, man. My kid gets dropped off to me from my ex at 7:30 in the morning. I hang with him for 3 or 4 hours. I take him to and well, now he's done with kindergarten. But anyways, now I go to work at 11:30 a.m. and I get off work at 11 at night. So then I
It's a
try
long
to work
day.
on music when I can, but I'm usually too fucking burnt, like from driving trucks all day. So
Well, you're
yeah,
still
when I
killing
get
it to this
both my
day,
days
man.
off.
Yeah, you're
So.
still killing it to this day. I was been really hyped watching you build up your chops for the Boo audition that had happened here recently. Like you were fucking killing
That
it.
has reignited me. Yeah, that was seeing all the kind of. I know. I already know I'm not going to get it, but the thing is, people saying, "Dude, you should get it, man. They should pick you. They'd be crazy enough to pick." Like that was very like heartwarming, and I'm very grateful for that, and that kind of helped like rebuild my like passion a little bit. Because like I kind of was going through those motions, like having a young kid, those toddler years of like, damn, like I don't have time to play guitar. I'm just trying to provide, trying to make money and shit. And now I'm like, yeah, dude, he's a little bit older.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, between that and the latest Wastewalker, you're still just killing it. So don't stop. Keep it up. Always. For sure.
Oh yeah, can't stop, won't stop.
Logan, you got any questions, my man?
I
Sorry, I
I had a
gabbed there
couple.
for a minute.
No, you are okay. You're all right, man. I was just curious, like, are there any of those like old tracks like from those days that if you had the opportunity that you would like to like go back and like, remix or remaster or like you hear things differently now and you're like, shit, I wish I could fucking put that part there instead or something, you know?
Oh, that's always the case. Oh man,
Right. I get that,
dude,
yeah.
War
As a
Never Changes
musician.
on the first War Never Changes on the first Wastewalker album. There's a section that I fucking always I came up with an idea shortly after, like where it should have been longer, like more extended, like when the tapping. I wanted to. I was looking back, like it should be. Like it should have just some parts. I'm thinking, man, that should have went twice as long. That's always happening with me. And what I'm coming to realize, like a better way. Let shit sit. Nate was telling me like Stephen King always waits a year before he releases anything and then rereads it, and then he'll rewrite it. It's like that's the better way to let shit sit on your hard drive
Hmm.
for a little while and then listen to it back later. Then you'll go, oh, that part should go longer. Or this part should be cut. That type of shit. That always happens. Oh yeah.
That's really
But
smart.
then it's out, and you're like, well, that's how we play it live now. That's just the song. Yeah, you're always like, damn, it could have been better.
And rest in power, dude. Yeah, yeah. So how did you meet all the Wastewalker guys?
So Nate, rest in peace. He was the guitar player. He got guitar lessons from me back when I was doing conducting. I was trying to like pour out guitar lessons because I would be home from tour for like 2 3 weeks. I couldn't have a job, so I was like, fuck, maybe do some guitar lessons just so I could pay my phone bill. And he was a great guitar lesson too because he was like, dude, I just want you to teach me how to play the conducting riffs. That's a fucking great fucking lesson. So what are we gonna work on today? You wanna? He's like, just show me how to play this song. So I'll just show him shit, and then I'll push it.
Dude, that's
Um,
cool.
so that's how I met him. Cameron was he was a friend. What's Cameron come? He was friends with like my ex girlfriend way back in my early 20s. He was friends with like her friend, and he just came over and partied at my house. And I was like, this guy's rad as fuck. I used to just go and party at his house, and vice versa. He's just funny as fuck. He's just doing all these South Park voices and shit like that. He can just do everything. Just a really funny, great positive energy. Justin used to share a practice spot room with Conducting from the Grave when he was in a band Promising Tomorrow, so, Joel. When did I officially meet Joel? I think it was actually at the lens picking where I was with VSP. But he's always been around in different local bands like Psychosomatic and stuff, and so that's how I met him. And he played bass originally, but he switched to guitar since Nate. Well, originally he was just it was gonna be a temporary thing for like a year while Nate moved to Ohio with his girl, and he ended up dying out there. And so well, I guess you're on guitar permanently. And then we got Curtis. He toured with fucking uh, Archaic, and he's just
That's
an
cool.
insane bass. This guy can tap and go. He built all these like crazy 12-string bass. Curtis is the shit. I don't remember when exactly I met him. Just at shows, I think, just around.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's how I met all the guys that are in the current Wastewalker lineup.
Okay, dude. Glad you found a nice, solid group of guys. Like I said, it's really cool to see that throughout your career you've had some usual suspects in your group. So very cool.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Drugs are a hell of a drug. I don't know, man. I dealt with it's par for the course. Every band that's successful has probably had people come and go. You know what I mean? That have had issues or haven't seen eye to eye and haven't been able to get. And right now, the lineup I have, I feel very about like we gel together well. We have a good time, and so I'm very very fortunate and very.
Yeah, dude. Well, I also wanted to talk about the Abernathy rap stuff real quick about how solid that was. I enjoyed the EP quite a bit, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
You had a lot of personal flair in there. It really made me like feel a lot of the stuff.
Thank
Honorable
you.
mention
Yeah,
for me is I really enjoyed the bass line in is it Options? The one where
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
the
I
Primus
basically I
bass
made
line.
that whole thing was all me, except for Derek Sasada, Dizzy, his producer name or whatever. He's a producer here in Sac. He used to work with a lot of like bigger rappers, and but yeah, pretty much every other instrumental on that I made, and yeah, tracked the bass and all that, and programmed the beat. And yeah, I had a lot of fun making it. But then what it is I kind of came to the realization it was the live setting type shit is like, or just the scene of it all. I didn't enjoy doing rap shows, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone had their fucking dick up their ass with their fucking ego. Oh no, my shit's about to be the best shit ever. And I was like, when I do shows in the metal scene in Sacramento or just in the metal in general, touring and shit, everyone, not everyone, there's dicks everywhere, obviously, but like everyone for the most part is like, oh, my friend's band just dropped a new song, I'm gonna share the song. But like, everyone, I don't know, just rappers are fucking they're fucking they're dipshits, and I don't know. I do love rap music. I grew up on rap music. I was into rap before I was ever even into metal, and I liked making rap, but I just didn't like doing shows, and I just kind of started feeling insecure too about even my own abilities because I was like, damn, like I didn't even start taking it serious till I was like 27, and I was like, damn, I feel like this is a thing I could do seriously, but I would have had to start taking it serious. It's kind of like that thing where it's like I can be a balding like death metal curmudgeon till I'm fucking in the grave, but like a balding fucking late 30s struggle rapper, that's not what I want my I want my kid seeing his dad growing up fucking, No, dude, this next show opening, some guy that's on Tech Nine's label will be that's yeah, I don't know. I still make up dumbass rap. You know what's funny? Lately, I make up a lot of raps while I'm driving trucks that are like drill rap, like murder rap type shit. But it's like you can't do that unless you really did kill motherfuckers. Like I come up with some bars, some shit that's like actual bars. So I'm like, yeah, I should ghostwrite for somebody. Like I got to ghostwrite for dude that it is an actual gangbanger because this shit is fire, but I can't even.
Just follow them all on Twitter. They all talk about it. I
I know,
love
yeah,
that's like my
no snitching.
favorite style of rap. I don't know why because like it is honestly because like what you just said because like they're actually talking about like how they live and what they do. Like that's why I enjoy it. It's real as fuck, you know? Yeah, it's like Jesus. But yeah, I don't
All
know.
that Jackson. I was kind of way down a rabbit hole on that fucking Jacksonville shit with fucking Youngin Ace and Julio. And I was like, God damn, this is ridiculous. This is just like, you know, I killed little baby bitch. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Years later, they need a guy in the police department. His whole job is to just listen to the local rappers' mixtapes and shit. Like
Uh-huh.
he's saying, yeah, he killed him. And like the first
Right.
line of the song, you know, I killed little baby bitch. Like, bro, he's saying right there that he did it. Like crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those dudes are nuts. One thing you've mentioned a couple times I wanted to ask you about, instead of guitar side, you said you write a lot of lyrics for like a lot of the bands that you're in or were in and stuff. What's your approach to that? I guess is that are you just kind of
Heartbreak. Emo, usually heartbreak. Honestly, I'm an emo kid at heart. To be completely honest, like if you listen to Eternally Gutted or Her Poison Tongues or shit, the last Wastewalker EP, fucking 2 to 3 songs are like basically like one's about my fucking ex-wife and like her horrible childhood trauma and suicide attempt, and then the other one's just like about her just lying about being on stuff. Yeah, it's just betrayal,
I
lies,
got
and
you.
just you know. I also at the same time though, some of the songs I write, I will be like just inspired by some like what was this the one I was talking about earlier? Vengeance through Bloodshed is about just it's from playing Fallout. I mean, I got like the Fallout tattoo and shit, like
Fuck yeah.
video games and shit like that. So that was like, well, like what if there was a post-apocalypse like new thing, and so it's kind of all over the place. There's 2 different types of songs I feel like in metal in general, or just in general with music. Is like there's a super personal shit where get it's cathartic kind of to get your shit out, or there's just that fantasy nerd like slaying some dragons type shit,
Uh-huh.
like a
100%.
Monomarth or like a lot of Black Dahlia Murder type songs, like where it's so. But this, I feel like the songs that matter the most and the people that resonate with people the most are the ones that are where you're like you're kind of just writing about shit you went through, like
Right. Yeah. Where it's more personal. I agree. Hell yeah.
Cool, man. Thanks for joining us. I think we can wrap it up here. Yeah, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know you were hanging out with your son at the pool, so thank you so much.
oh yeah, yeah.
So I was gonna say, this is your time right here. If you want to plug yourself, talk about anything you got going on, anything exciting in the works for you and your band, just let us know, man.
Yeah, just check out Wastewalker. keep on obviously checking out Conducting from the Grave, even though we haven't been a band for like 10 years. I do have about 7 or 8 new Wastewalker songs instrumentally ready to go. We just got to start putting some vocals to them. I think me and Cam are going to start doing a podcast. I think I'm going to start doing a podcast. Like, this is kind of fun. I dig it. And all I do is listen to podcasts all day at work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, and I feel like that's what you kind of have to do. Like, look at every successful comedian. It's because they made a podcast. It's not because they were great at comedy. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing. So I think we're going to be starting to do that soon. Other than that, yeah, I don't really have anything. I guess Black Bomb Metal Fest in Sonora. I think it's August 16th. We're coming with Alpha Complex and Haunt
Send me a
and a bunch
flyer.
of
I'll
other.
put it in here too.
Sure. Yeah, that's I think the only show we have really coming up. But yeah, it's in Sonora, California. It's about like 2 hours out of like go to Stockton and then over towards the mountains. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I have any other.
Cool, man. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Be on the lookout for John and any of his projects. Wastewalkers out there, they're killing it every day. So, again, it's just been Just Noise. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Peace out.